Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Live Strong podcast. Thanks for tuning in again. I hope you guys have been enjoying these episodes. We've had a few now, haven't we, all together, which is so nice. I'm still enjoying doing it, which is a bonus, and I am trying to bring you guys more informative episodes. I think it is fun to have a bit of fun with it, but I think you guys are going to get the most out of this, and I guess probably tune in more if you're getting something from it as well. So we're back with another educational episode, but first let's talk about what we've been up to over in the Olivia world. We are now nearly 3 weeks out from the wedding, guys. 3 weeks on Saturday, so very, very, very close. Everything is sort of like wrapping up, coming together now. If you don't know me that well, you wouldn't know that I am an organised freak. So I do feel quite chill about the whole thing. I think it's helpful running a business, and I think there's a lot of bits and pieces and a lot of moving parts all the time with running a business. Especially, sometimes I am planning events for 60 to 100 people with the gym. So I do think that even though this wedding is a lot bigger scale, I think I'm very good at prioritizing what I need to prioritize and, ticking things off the list when I need to tick them off. So because of that, I do think my stress has been quite low these past few weeks. I wouldn't say, I think a lot of people when they come into their wedding, you hear them being super stressed, people losing a lot of weight because they're super stressed, being quite overwhelmed and all these sorts of things, where I feel just my normal amount of stress, which is usually pretty high anyway. But yeah, pretty normal. I've got the rest of this week and then 2 more weeks left at work, and then I'm having 3 weeks off work, which is the longest amount of time I've ever had off the gym while the gym's open. Usually, or in the past, Nathan and I would have our time off or our holidays over the Christmas period. So we would have, I think the longest we've had off, we went to Japan for a month, but it was I think a week in December, and then it must have been 3 weeks in Jan, and then the gym opened the last week of January. That was a few years ago when we sort of had the flexibility, to do that, and I could sort of close the gym for those few weeks, and it wasn't too much of an issue. Now I definitely couldn't do that because the gym's a lot bigger, and I obviously don't need to because I have staff as well, but I've never had 3 weeks off in the middle of the year when the gym's been functioning without me. So I am feeling fine about that. The girls, my staff are amazing. I have no issues at all with them, holding down the fort while I'm away, but it's more a me thing that I get FOMO from not being there, and I like to know everything that happens inside that gym. So it means that I'll have 3 weeks of stuff to catch up on of what's been happening. So that's a bit crazy, but yes, I've only got really 2 more full weeks left at work, and then I'm having the whole week off before the wedding. We are going to the Hunter Valley the Thursday before the wedding, so that week I'm having off, it's only 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, really, and then the Thursday we're going anyway. So I'm excited for that week. I'm actually not going to train that week, which been telling some people in the gym, they've just been asking, which I think a lot of people have been oh, why are you doing that? And for me, I guess I understand my stress response within my body, and I want to feel really energetic, really well that week. And I would say that a lot of the time, like I just said, I run at a pretty high stress level, pretty low recovery level. I don't get heaps of sleep during the week. So I think I'm going to use that week to really just sort of recharge, feel really fresh, feel really good. I think I'm just going to go for a few walk, run situations, and not sort of put my body into a stressed phase, which you technically do when you train. You are stressing your body, stressing your muscles. And that's just a personal preference because it's only a week. Then the next week when we go on our honeymoon, Nathan and I will train when we're away. So I'm sort of just having 1 week of rest, which I never really have, which will be really nice. So my plan is that week to not even step foot into the gym, even though I'll be home for a few days. I'm going to not go to the gym. I'm going to literally just try and set an alarm, go to my appointments, get my hair done, my nails done, pack all our bags for the week, all that sort of vibe. So it's all coming together, team. It is very exciting. I had my Hens 2.0 last Saturday, which was super fun. It was like my bridesmaids, the mums, the sisters, and we did a cocktail making class. We went to a really nice, yummy dinner, and then we did karaoke, and it was just a fun night to all be together to celebrate the wedding that is in 3 weeks. The boys had their bucks, which they had a blast. I'm sure you can imagine they ran amok, as boys do. But, Nath has come back with 2 eyebrows, a full head of hair, and no broken bones. So what more could you ask for, guys? Honestly. But yes, that's my life at the moment, is literally wedding and my bride era in full swing. Only a few more weeks of it, and then we'll be able to talk about the wedding. Like, imagine all the talking we're going to do in this podcast about the wedding experience. I'm going to give you guys like a big rundown of like the planning, the day, the whole thing, because I think that's exciting. So anyway, that's my life at the moment. But like I said, we're on here for a little educational chit chat today, team. And I thought when I'm coming up with these topics, I'm trying to, because I've only done a few, trying to address points that I think will assist a lot of people. And it's very easy for me to come up with these topics because they sort of get thrown in my face when people are being addressed with these exact problems in the gym, and I see them being faced, daily, weekly, whatever. So what I want to talk about today are factors that may be stopping you from hitting your goals. And these are factors that aren't like not going to the gym or, like the big things that people are like, oh, well, I just don't wake up when my alarm goes off, or, whatever the big picture things are, right? This isn't that. These are all the little things, the little 10 percenters. I wouldn't say they're 1 percenters because I do think they all weigh a little bit, but these are the little things that I think people forget make so much impact, and they can really deter you from achieving your goals, or they can really slow up the process of you achieving your goals. So let's get into this thing. I've got 9 little points that I want to run through with you all. And the first one is reason as to why people may not be, or a factor people might not be hitting their gym, health, or fitness goals, is that they're not following a program. People go to the gym and they do willy-nilly shit, and they don't give their body the time to adapt, to implement progressive overload, which I talked about last week, and therefore they don't see any change. They just plateau. Maybe if they're a beginner at something, or beginner at, a beginner at that type of exercise, or, this new thing, yes, they'll get beginner gains. Everyone gets beginner gains where you just see improvement. But then, unfortunately, you get to a stage where there is no more improvements and you just plateau. So you need a program to follow to help you with implementing progressive overload, training to failure, and progressing, okay? Now, a lot of the time, people need a professional to write this program for them. I think that people can begin to write a form of a program after they've trained for a long time. So I do think it's something that people can eventually potentially do on their own to some degree. I don't think you can be super specific, super advanced, or, in the, small percentile of people who are getting crazy results if you don't have a professional helping you. But I do think it's something that people, end up being able to do. But I think a lot of people struggle with this because they just say they go to the gym, but they don't follow anything. They just go and do whatever. This happens a lot when people start with us at Live Strong. I say, okay, so what sort of training have you done in the past 6 months or so? And then, I go to the gym. So do you follow a program, or, what do you do? I just do what I feel like when I get there, X, Y, and Z. Therefore, more times than not, from that response, I can tell that potentially they haven't got much from their previous training, or maybe they're still pretty new to moving correctly with their training. Now, this programming also comes down to people having too many goals and essentially too many programs to follow. Like, this is a big one at the moment, with 2 things come to mind: that running is really popular, and so is high rocks. Now, these 2 things, people try and do everything, They're like, I'm going to run a marathon and I've got a marathon coach, whatever, who's helping me run this marathon. They've got me running 5 days a week. This is obviously just an example, whatever, 5 days a week. But I also love coming to the gym, and I'm also going to train 5 days a week, and I'm just going to smush them together. I'll be fine. Now, because they're doing this and a bit of this, they're not going to be amazing at either of these things. They can't put their energy into either of those things. Now, in saying that, just for that example, someone running a marathon, they actually do need strength training to assist with their marathon training. However, those programs need to align and they need to be working together. So there's no point, if you're marathon training and you're doing your strength training, there's no point doing your run, you're doing a heavy leg day the day before you do your long run, right? It's obviously going to affect your training for your long run. Therefore, you're probably not going to be able to put in enough effort. Therefore, you're probably not going to get results from that run, right? So it's about those programs working intertwined with each other, much like people who want to do a high rocks, and like I said, this is a very common thing at the moment. I think it's a very achievable thing for a lot of people, even though it is hard and it's hard to be really good at it and be professional and all these sorts of things. But for a lot of people who are somewhat consistent gym goers, they probably could complete a team high rocks or a pair high rocks, complete it, maybe not well, but they could complete it. So they tell me that, we're going to do a high rocks, but there's no program for them to actually specifically achieve that goal. They're just like, we're just going to do a bit of this, bit of that, and see what happens without the program, right? So programming is key. Programming for what you want to achieve and making sure that what you want to achieve is what your program, your whole training program is designed around. In saying that, maybe you do need to be doing a bit of different training for that one goal, but all the training needs to be revolved around that one goal. So even our guys at the gym right now who are doing Hill to Harbour, this is also saying you need to be thinking about, okay, my goal right now is running because I'm trying to put in all this time, I'm trying to really improve my running. I've got a goal, I've got an end date, but in order for me to be my best runner, my best self, be strong, capable, I also need to keep my strength training. Professional athletes, in no matter what sport they do, also do strength training, okay? It is really important for your foundations. But am I going to go crazy and 110% in a big leg day before I do my long run? No, because I won't be able to do that long run very well. So that's what I'm trying to say there. So first one, a thing why you might not be getting your goals is your programming. Second thing, which I talked about last week, so I'm not going to rave on about, and that is intensity. Are you training hard enough? If you don't know if you're training hard enough, listen to last week's episode. My third one is overtraining. Now, the third and fourth one, I guess, is sort of going in together and into the next one as well, but overtraining and undertraining. Now, people don't understand that overtraining isn't actually you killing the game. Like, if you're training 5, 6, 7 times a week, doesn't mean that you're doing better than the person that's training 3 or 4 times a week, okay? What is really important is the intensity that you are bringing to these sessions. If someone trains 4 times a week, but every single time they go to the gym, they train their ass off. They train as hard as they can, they push themselves, they challenge themselves, then they give themselves enough time to recover. Those muscles can recover properly before they get hit again. They're going to get some good results. Then you've got the other person who maybe is training 6 times a week, but they might only be able to give 70 to 80%, where the other person can give 100%. Maybe they're not recovering to 100% between their sessions because they're training so frequently. They're not going to get as much out of their week of training compared to the person training 4 times a week. So it's important to remember that sometimes quantity is not quality and therefore it is not results, okay? So it really is about your quality of your training. Overtraining can also be, in all ways, shapes and forms. So that can be, like I just said, with that sort of hybrid training where you might be doing running and you might be doing strength training, but then you've also got people who be like, and I'm also doing Pilates and I also play indoor netball once a week. They are all forms of training, guys, and if you're doing all those things, they're all going to suffer because you're not going 100%. The next point was the undertraining. Now, some people, especially beginners, like you want to be going, I'm just going to start with 1 time a week in the gym. I think that's realistic for me, blah, 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 blah. I'm happy that you're starting. I'm happy you're doing something. However, sometimes if you're not training enough, you're not going to see results, and you're going to lose motivation. If you don't see results, the motivation dwindles very fast. Now, obviously we don't want your motivation to dwindle because I don't want you to stop training, right? Like I want you to keep pursuing with your goal, right? So sometimes people think that they're doing enough, but maybe they're not actually doing enough to get results. Like if you're only training legs once a fortnight and you're trying to grow your glutes, sorry, dull, they ain't growing. Okay, so it is important that you are training enough. And really, personally, I do think that 4 is the sweet spot. I think 4, if you can train 4 times a week, you're going to get results. You're going to have enough recovery. You're going to feel good. You're going to have rest days where you don't even have to go to the gym. You don't have to train. But I do think there's times when maybe that dial gets turned up, and sometimes when that dial gets turned down. Like for me right now, I'm doing 6 sessions a week, 4 strength sessions, a run session, and a cardio session. And that's because I'm in quite a deficit. I also have a bit of a performance goal that I am starting to work towards for July. And so I'm ensuring that I'm hitting those running and cardio days for that. Now, when I finish the wedding, I'm actually going to be flipping my training a bit. I'm going to be doing 2 to 3 strength sessions, and then I'm going to be doing the rest of them as cardio sessions. So again, a bit of a twist turn of events, but it depends on what my goal is going to be. Once I've completed this goal in July, I'm just going to go back to 4 strength sessions for a bit and really work on my strength training. So there's peaks and valleys, right? It depends on my goal, depends on my programming. So you can see they all sort of intertwine together there. Now, I talked about it a little bit there, but my next one is rest. Rest is so important, guys. Under resting, which can be also the same thing as overtraining, can completely cancel your results in the gym. You're going to end up injured, you're going to end up mentally and physically fatigued, you're not going to get results because you're always training not at 100%. If you can't go into the gym at 100% and you can only train, at 60% because your legs are so cooked and you're training legs again, you need a rest. Having a rest day doesn't mean that you're failing. Sometimes having a rest day is actually you taking a step forward. It's actually going to be better for you, okay? Because really, we get our results when we're actually resting. You don't actually get your results in the gym. We get our results when we're resting, if you think about it like that. So it's really important that you are taking those rest days. And that's why I'm saying those guys who maybe aren't training 6 times a week, 5 to 7 times a week, whatever the number is, they're probably not getting as much as that person who is training 4 times a week, okay? Now, after our rest, let's talk about injuries, because like I just said, if you're not resting enough, that can easily lead to injuries. Now, not only can you get injured if you're not resting enough, you're overtraining, all these sorts of things, but also training with an injury can also lead to a lot of bad things, right? Let's say you're doing some form of exercise, and let's say you're doing a squat. You're feeling lots of pain in your squat, in your knee, okay? But you're going to complete your set of squats, you're going to complete the workout, and then you're going to, at the end of the workout, say, oh, well, my knee was hurting in my first set of squats. There was probably something we could be doing in your leg workout that could mean that we could actually train your legs more effectively and actually not get this knee pain, because what you're probably doing is probably actually taking a step back in whatever rehab you're doing or potential rehab you need to do for that knee, and you're actually not doing anything positive for your legs, which is the whole point of the workout, okay? Of course, if you're doing a leg workout. So when you are injured, it's important that you're training smart. Having your rest days, like we just talked about, but also listening to your body, speaking up. If you're in one of our group sessions, make sure that you are speaking up, telling your coach when you are feeling something that's feeling off. Maybe it's a current injury, maybe it's something that's brand new. You don't know what it's meant to feel like unless you ask and you communicate this with your coach. So there's always ways that we can work around injuries in the gym. It may mean that we do something completely different, we do something just a little bit different. It really, really depends on the situation. But injuries are a part of training. It happens to us all. No matter how bloody great you are, no matter how advanced you are in the gym, everyone gets injured. It's your body. It's not a machine, right? It is going to have its ups and downs. But it really is important that you're training smart with the injury, because nothing's going to come out of you pushing through an injury in the gym and just making it worse. I hate to tell you, even though we all are stubborn and we want to do everything, you can't sometimes, sozza. Soza. Next one, stress. Now, stress leads to a lot of bad things. Let's just put it at that point to start us off with. Now, with stress, it's not only going to affect you in the gym, it's also going to affect you out of the gym with that recovery, with your sleep, with your nutrition, with you holding on to water, with your relationships, which is probably evidently going to affect, your mental health, all these sorts of things. Now, when we're stressed and we come into the gym to train, we're not going to be feeling at our 100% best self, okay? Our body feels stress. Our body does, especially if you're someone who's already maybe holding on to some inflammation from an injury, maybe you haven't recovered enough from the last workout, then you've had a super stressful day at work, you've been holding tension in your body, you come into the gym and you try and do a big heavy leg day, it's probably going to feel like shit. So this is also going to lead into our last point that we just were talking about with rest. And when it is important to know that maybe you need to have a rest day. So when we're feeling stressed, we need to listen to our body and potentially we need to take a step back, chill out for a little seki poodle, and then we can continue to push through. Now, if we're someone who lives a high stress life every single day, all the time, I'm telling you guys, it's not going to be good for you. Like, I know it sounds like, oh, Olivia, of course I'm stressed. And I just told you, I live quite a high stress life as well. But I know that I feel my best when I can have stress management in my life. So that looks different for everyone and it's easier said than done. And, people have higher stresses than others. But where we can control our stress, we are going to feel more like our best self. After stress, we're going to talk about our nutrition. Now, nutrition is obviously a huge one, which I could talk about in a lot more detail. And to be honest, we'll probably have a bit more of a chat about this another day. But your nutrition is going to affect you achieving your goals in your gym, because in your gym, in my gym, in your gym, whoever's gym it is. But if you don't come into the gym fueled for your workout, guys, you can't give 100%. I've said this before on this podcast, but food is literally your fuel for your session. Your food for your gym workout is literally the petrol for your car. You ain't making it to work if there's no petrol in your car. You ain't making it to the end of your workout if there's no petrol in your body, okay? So you need fuel to fuel your body. Now, after our workout and our workout's done and our body needs to recover, all our core muscles are fatigued. Think of them like, like a battery, a rechargeable battery. Your battery's dead, okay? We need to go put some more charge in it for it to feel amazing again and it can work again. That's like your body. Our poor body battery is dead. We need to put some food back into it to fuel it back out. So that is why it's important for us to eat after our workout. We need to recharge our muscles. We need to help them with that recovery process, help them build our muscles up stronger again. So our food with our training is going to lead you to actually get better results. And all of these things, like nutrition, the injuries, the rest, the stress, all of these things, if you don't have all those in place, you can't train at 100%. If you can't train at 100%, you don't get 100% results out of your session, okay? Think of it like that. All of these things lead to 100% training, which leads to 100% results. Obviously, this is in a very basic situation. There's a lot of other things that, that can be in that factor pool as well. But so if we let's say we're only at 70% of our stress, rest, injury, nutrition. We've only given 70% to that. Therefore, we can only give 70% in our session. We're only going to get 70% of the results. So it's like, why would we not work on all these other things to try and train better and get better results? Because we're only going to get further along in our process, in achieving our goals. So with our nutrition, have you actually been thinking about eating around your training? Are you coming to the gym fueled? Are you eating after your session? Are you eating enough food throughout the day to actually fuel your body, give you energy to perform, give your brain the power to actually function, to be smart, intelligent, intellectual, quick throughout the day? Or are you feeling, a bit hazy? Are you feeling a bit maybe dizzy, a bit lightheaded? All these sorts of things because you're not fueling yourself enough. That sort of leads into the next one, which they all sort of play in together, but water. Are you drinking enough water? Water, water, water. Water makes up so much of our body. If you don't have it in your body, we're not going to recover properly. You're not going to be able to flush out toxins well enough through your body, which is also going to lead to you holding onto body fat, all these sorts of things. It's going to maybe cause your skin to break out. You need water, guys, okay? Water, 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 okay? You should be, I can't remember the number, 0.036, I think, is the water calculation. That's really testing my brain and my memory, which is terrible. I actually have the worst memory ever. But you should be drinking a lot of water. Moral of the story. Most people, it's like 2 to 4 litres. I know it's a big gap, but it depends on your body weight. So 2 to 4 litres is where most people sit. But if you're just drinking 1 litre of water a day, it is not enough. If you're drinking 600 mils of water a day, you are dehydrated. You can die from dehydration. So think of that next time you don't drink your water. So all of these little things that I've just talked about, these are all things that are going to help you get closer to your goal in the gym, okay? If these things are not in place, you're not going to get the most out of your goals. And people ask me, oh, I haven't been able to improve in this lift, or, I've been feeling really flat in the gym, or I don't feel like I have any energy when I'm here. Are you doing all these things? Okay. Also, I don't think I said sleep, which is a bit silly, but I should have said that with stress. But sleep is obviously a big one as well. We should be aiming to get 8 hours of sleep a night. A lot of our recovery, a lot of our muscle building, it happens when we're actually asleep. When we're actually in a nice deep sleep, REM sleep, is when our body fully recovers. So this is when we need to be fueled. We need to be fueled during our sleep because our body's working really hard in our sleep, and we need to make sure we're getting enough sleep, okay? So again, that's another factor which sort of leads into that rest one. But a lot of people, like I said, they wonder why they're not getting results, and a lot of the time I can very easily pinpoint one, or if not multiple, of these little factors that as to why they're not hitting their gym results or their gym gains, or maybe they're coming in for a big strength testing day but they haven't ate well beforehand, or they're coming in poor on sleep, or they've had a really stressful day, or their body's holding stress, or whatever. You get the gist, guys. You got to do all the shit to get the shit. I hate to break it to you. And if you want to train properly and you want to get results, and I think a lot of people come to the gym with the intent to get advanced results. They want to be able to squat 80 kilos. They want to be able to bench 50 kilos. They want to be able to do all these heavy lifts, but they don't act like an advanced gym goer. You know what I mean? So if the gym means a lot to you, and your training means a lot to you, and your results mean a lot to you, you need to put a lot into that in terms of your everyday life. And I think sometimes that doesn't quite add up, which means that sometimes that doesn't happen, So have a little think of where you sort of sit on the scale with all these things. Are you ticking some of these boxes? Do you not do some of these things? Is there somewhere you can maybe improve? Like I just said, with the wedding and me having that week off of the wedding, that's for my stress levels to come down so I can feel like my best clear-headed physical self, because I know that when I'm stressed, I lose my voice, which I'm really bad at lately, and I know that. So that's something that goes with me. I lose my voice. I get super tired really easily, which is probably a little bit due to my sleep deprivation as well. I can feel my aches in my body start to hurt, like my back and my knee and stuff. So for me to feel like my best self my one day, I know it's not talking about training, but it all sort of intertwines with each other. I know that I need to reduce my stress. How am I going to reduce my stress? I'm going to not walk into my workplace. I'm going to allow my body stress to reduce, my physical stress, by not training and putting my body through extra stress. And I'm going to allow myself to get a few extra hours of sleep every night. So how can you be less stressed? How can you drink more water? How can you feel better around your training? Think about it, team. If you're trying to live strong, I already do the programming thing for you. And for most of you, we assist you with getting your intensity up there as well. We can't force you to train hard enough, but we can encourage you to train hard enough. Anyway, team, I hope that this has helped you out on your journey to hitting your gym goals and hitting them swiftly, effectively, and smartly. If you have any questions on this, let me know. If you think there's maybe something you need a bit of help with. You're like, oh, I really do need to drink more water, but how? Or whatever. Shoot me a message. If there's a topic that you would like me to address in more detail, let me know, because I try and just breeze over them, I guess, because if not, we'll be here all day. No one's listening to me rave on all day, do they? That would be silly Billy. I think that's all from me. Make sure you like, subscribe, I don't know, comment, send me a message if you like it. Follow our Instagram page. Don't know what it is. Live Strong Podcast or something. Don't know. Facebook. No, there's no Facebook. YouTube. I try and get it out there. I'm not very good on the socials with it because it's more like a little side hustle. But I'm hoping to get, after the wedding, one of my goals is to sort of get a better camera, and I'm not a better camera, I'm happy with the phone, that's fine. Better microphone setup, and potentially set up a little podcasting situation in my office upstairs, because I don't really like sitting down here. It's annoying for me to set up every time, and I don't like this double mic situation. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, I got some feedback that it was better last time. The sound? What's this called? The vocal cords, the audio, that's the one. So I'm going to keep with the 2 mics, but I do need to just get a proper podcasting mic because, this is a bit strange. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. New episode every week, the Live Strong Podcast. Slow.